Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the English Listening and Speaking Practice. I'm your host, Henry, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you're learning English, you probably already know how tricky it can be to remember new words. 1 minute, you're sure you've learned something, and the next, it's like the word just disappears from your mind. But don't worry, that's completely normal. Today, we're going to talk about how to remember words easily. Whether you're a beginner or more advanced, remembering vocabulary is a big part of mastering English. And I'm here to share some tips and tricks that will make this process a little easier and a lot more fun. We'll cover why we forget words, how repetition works, the power of using images, and even a few memory tricks that will help you remember those tricky words you just can't seem to hold on to. So, if you've ever wondered how to improve your vocabulary retention, you're in the right place. Let's dive in and make remembering words easier together. Let's begin by talking about something very important: why we forget words. If you've ever learned a new English word and then forgotten it just a day later, you're not alone. This happens to almost everyone learning a new language. So, why does this happen? Well, our brain is like a big storage space. Every day, we take in a lot of information, things we see, hear, read, and think about. Our brain has to decide what is important to keep and what is not. When we learn a new word, the brain says, is this important? If we don't use the word again soon, the brain thinks it's not useful and lets it go. That's why we forget. Another reason is lack of connection. When we learn a word without really understanding it or using it in a sentence, it just floats around in our memory. It has nothing to hold on to. Imagine trying to hang a picture on the wall, but there's no hook. The picture falls. The same happens with words that don't have a connection in our mind. Also, learning too many words at once can be a problem. Our brain can only take in a small amount of new information at a time. If we try to learn 10 or 20 new words all at once, we might remember 1 or 2, but the rest can be forgotten quickly. So, remember, it's completely normal to forget. It doesn't mean you're bad at learning English. It just means your brain needs a little more time and a few smart techniques to help it remember better. And that's what we're going to talk about next. All right, now let's talk about one of the most powerful tools for remembering words: repetition. Yes, repeating things again and again might sound boring, but trust me, it really works. Think about how you remember your favorite song. You didn't listen to it just once. You heard it many times, maybe sang along, and before you knew it, you knew all the words. The same thing happens with language. The more you see, hear, speak, or write a word, the stronger that word becomes in your memory. Here's how repetition can help you. 1. Read the word many times. When you see a new word, don't just read it once. Read it again later that day. Read it tomorrow. Read it next week. The more times you see it, the better your brain will remember it. 2. Say it out loud. Speaking helps your brain and mouth work together. Try to say the word slowly, then in a sentence. For example, if the word is comfortable, say, "This chair is very comfortable." Say it again later. "I want to wear something comfortable today." You're teaching your brain how to use the word in real life. 3. Write it down. Writing helps you remember words in a different way. Try writing the word 5 times. Then write a sentence with it. You can also keep a notebook with all your new words. This is like your own personal dictionary. 4. Hear it in use. Listen to podcasts, YouTube videos, or audiobooks where people use the word. Hearing it used naturally helps you remember it better. You'll also hear how it's pronounced and used in a sentence. 5. Space it out. Don't try to repeat everything in one day. It's better to repeat a word today, then again tomorrow, then again next week. This is called spaced repetition, and it helps your brain remember things for a longer time. So, repetition is not just doing something again and again, it's doing it the smart way. Small steps, repeated over time, can lead to big results. Next, we'll talk about a really fun way to remember words by using pictures and visual imagery. Let's go. Okay, now let's move into something really fun, using pictures and visual imagery to remember words. Our brains love pictures. In fact, we remember images much faster than words. That's why when you see a photo of a cat, you instantly know it's a cat. But when you read the word cat, your brain has to work a little more. So what if we connect words with pictures in our mind? That's called visual imagery, and it's a great way to make new words stick. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're trying to remember the English word giraffe. Instead of just saying it again and again, close your eyes and picture a giraffe. See its long neck, its spots, and the way it walks. Maybe you imagine it eating leaves from a tall tree. That picture in your head will help you remember the word better than just reading it. You can also try drawing the word. If you learn the word apple, draw a red apple next to the word in your notebook. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just a quick little picture that helps you connect the word and the meaning. Here's another tip. If the word is hard or new, try to make the picture in your mind a little funny or crazy. The sillier the image, the easier it is to remember. For example, if you want to remember the word fast, imagine a cheetah wearing running shoes. That funny image will stay in your mind longer. Some people also like using flashcards with pictures. On one side of the card, you can have the word, and on the other side, a picture. You can even use apps on your phone that show you images along with words. So remember, when your brain sees a picture, it's like giving the word a face. And that makes it much easier to remember. In the next part, we'll talk about using context, how using a word in real sentences can help you never forget it. Stay with me. Now let's talk about something very important when learning new words. Context, you might be asking, what does that mean? Don't worry, I'll explain. Context means the situation or the sentence where a word is used. When we learn a word in context, it becomes more meaningful. We don't just learn what the word means, we also learn how to use it. Let's take an example. If you learn the word bank, do you know what it means? Maybe yes, maybe no. But what if I say, I'm going to the bank to take out some money? Now you understand. You can guess the meaning from the sentence. That's the power of context. Here's why learning words in context helps you remember them. 1. You see how the word works. When you see a word in a sentence, you learn its grammar, its position, and how it connects with other words. 2. You remember better because there's a story. Your brain likes stories more than single words. When a word is part of a story or a sentence, it's easier to remember. 3. You feel more confident using it. When you've seen or heard a word used in real life, it's easier to try using it yourself. It doesn't feel strange or scary anymore. So, how can you learn new words in context? Read short stories, articles, or dialogues. When you see a new word, pay attention to how it's used. Watch English shows or videos with subtitles, listen and read at the same time. Create your own sentences. Don't just memorize the word. Try writing 2 or 3 different sentences with it. Let's try this now. Imagine you're learning the word delicious. Don't just remember delicious equals tasty. Make it come alive. This pizza is delicious. My mom made a delicious cake yesterday. I want to eat something delicious tonight. Now, the word delicious feels real. You can see it, feel it, and use it. So remember, learning words in context is like giving them a home. Without a sentence or a story, the word is lost. But with context, it becomes part of something bigger and easier to remember. Up next, we'll look at another powerful method creating associations, linking new words with things you already know. Let's go! Now let's talk about another powerful trick for remembering new words creating associations. So, what does that mean? An association is simply a connection between the new word and something you already know. When your brain links the new word to a feeling, a memory, an image, or even another word, it becomes much easier to remember. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you want to remember the word cold. You can think of ice cream, snow, or winter. Maybe you remember a time when you were outside on a cold day. That memory helps your brain say, "Oh yes, cold means low temperature." These are associations, little connections in your brain that help a word feel familiar and strong. Here are some easy ways to create associations. 1. Link the word to something personal. For example, the word happy. Don't just learn it as feeling good. Think about a time you were happy. Maybe a birthday, a vacation, or when you passed an exam. When you feel the emotion, the word becomes real. 2. Use your first language. Sometimes it helps to connect the English word with a word in your own language. For example, biblioteca in Spanish means library. Now every time you hear library, you remember biblioteca, and the meaning is easier to recall. 3. Connect it to a sound or rhyme. Some words are easier to remember when they sound like something funny or familiar. For example, the word tall, you can say, tall like a wall. That rhyme helps you lock it in your memory. 4. Use objects around you. If you're learning the word bottle, pick up a bottle and say the word. Touch it, look at it, say it aloud. That real-world connection makes the word stick better. Group similar words together. If you learn the word apple, also think of banana, grape, orange, all fruits. When words live in a group, they help each other stay in your memory. The more associations you create, the easier it gets to remember and use the word. You're giving your brain many doors to open the same word. And that makes it harder to forget. In the next section, we'll explore how speaking and using the words in your daily life can make a huge difference. Keep listening. Now, let's talk about something fun and creative: mnemonics and memory tricks. Mnemonics are clever little tools that help you remember difficult words. They work by using your imagination, humor, or something familiar to make the word easier to remember. Let's break it down and look at some examples. 1. Make a funny sentence. Sometimes, making a silly or strange sentence helps you remember a word. For example, the word because many English learners have trouble remembering how to spell it. Here's a mnemonic. B, iggy, E, elephants. C and A always U. Understand? S small, E elephants. B, E, C, A, U, S, E. You see? A funny sentence that helps you spell the word correctly. 2. Create a story. If you're learning the word lazy, imagine a cartoon character lying on a sofa, eating chips and watching TV all day. You can say, "That's Lazy Larry." Now, every time you hear lazy, your brain remembers Lazy Larry. 3. Use word connections. Take the word knight, the one with armor and a sword. It sounds like knight, right? So imagine a knight fighting monsters at night. That silly picture helps you remember the word and the difference in meaning. Break the word into parts. Let's take the word information. Break it down. Information. Now make a story. I'm in the library for more edumation. It's a little silly, but it sticks. 5. Use colors, shapes, and sounds. Write new words in different colors. Draw symbols or shapes next to them. Use highlighters to make some parts stand out. You can even make up a sound or rhythm for a word, like a mini song or chant. Mnemonics are powerful because they are fun, creative, and personal. You make the rules, and your brain loves that. And remember, if something makes you laugh, surprises you, or feels weird, your brain is more likely to remember it. So don't be afraid to get silly. Next, we're going to talk about the best part, speaking and using the words in real life. Let's keep going. Okay, now it's time to talk about something very important. Maybe the most powerful way to remember words. That's right, using them in real life. Yes, I'm talking about real conversations, not just reading or writing. When you speak the words, when you hear them from other people, when you use them in real situations, they become a natural part of your memory. Let's think about this. Imagine you learn the word delicious. You can repeat it 10 times by yourself. But what happens when you say it to a friend while eating cake? Wow, this cake is delicious. Boom. That word is now connected to a real moment, a real feeling, a real memory. And that makes it much easier to remember. So how can you use new words in real conversations, especially if you're still learning English? Don't worry. Here are some simple and practical ideas. 1. Practice with a language partner. Try to find someone who is also learning English. You can practice speaking together. You don't need to be perfect. Just try using the new words. Even 5 minutes a day helps a lot. 2. Speak to yourself. Yes, talk to yourself. You can describe what you're doing. I am brushing my teeth. I am cooking rice. The water is hot. This builds the habit of using English words as part of your daily life. 3. Use new words in daily chats. Try to use 1 or 2 new words every day when you message a friend or write a social media post. You could say, I feel excited today, or the weather is perfect, sunny and bright. This kind of real use helps the words stay in your mind. 4. Join English speaking clubs or groups. Many people join language exchange groups online or in their city. Even listening to others speak helps you remember. And when it's your turn to speak, you'll get more confident. 5. Don't worry about mistakes. This one is important. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how we learn. When you use a new word and someone corrects you, that's good. You will probably never forget it after that. The key message here is use it or lose it. If you learn a word but never use it, your brain forgets. But if you use it in real life, even just once or twice, it sticks. So don't be shy. Speak up. Use the new words you learn. Practice them. Repeat them. Enjoy them. And now, let's move to our final section, where I'll give you some tips to build your daily vocabulary habit. You're doing great. Let's finish strong. All right, let's talk about something simple, but very effective. Listening and reading practice. You might be wondering, can I really remember words just by listening or reading? Yes, absolutely. In fact, it's one of the best ways to learn new words without even trying too hard. Let me explain why. When you listen to English, in podcasts, songs, movies, or conversations, you hear words again and again in different situations. Let me explain why. When you listen to English, in podcasts, songs, movies, or conversations, you hear words again and again in different situations. Your brain starts to recognize them. Even if you don't understand everything, you begin to notice patterns. That's how babies learn their first language, just by listening. And when you read in English, Even simple things like stories, articles, or subtitles, you see how words are used. You get examples of grammar, tone, and meaning. Slowly, your brain learns not just the word, but how to use it. Let's look at some easy ways to make listening and reading part of your day. 1. Listen to simple English content. Start with easy materials like children's stories, beginner podcasts, or YouTube videos made for English learners. Don't worry about understanding everything. Focus on catching words you know and learning a few new ones. 2. Watch with subtitles. Watch movies or shows in English with subtitles in English. You can hear and read the words at the same time. This helps your brain connect the sound, the spelling, and the meaning. 3. Read short and fun things. You don't have to read a big book. You can read short stories, news headlines, social media posts, or English comics. Choose something that interests you. That's very important. When you enjoy what you're reading, you remember the words better. 4. Keep a notebook or app for new words. When you find a new word while reading or listening, write it down. Add the meaning, a sentence, or even a small picture. Look at this notebook every few days to review the words. 5. Repeat and review. Don't just listen or read once. Go back and repeat the story or article after a few days. You'll be surprised. Words that felt hard at first will start to feel easy. So remember, the more you listen and read in English, the more your brain gets used to it. You learn words naturally, without stress. It's like training your brain, one small step at a time. Next up, we'll talk about how to create a simple daily habit that helps you grow your vocabulary every single day. Keep going. You're doing amazing. Now, we've come to the most important part of all consistent practice. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's that learning vocabulary isn't about studying hard for one day. It's about practicing a little bit every day. Think of learning English as building a house. You can't finish a house in one day, right? But if you lay a single brick every day, over time, you'll have a strong and beautiful house. The same goes for your vocabulary. Small, consistent steps lead to big progress. Here's how you can build your vocabulary habit. 1. Set a small goal every day. You don't need to learn 20 words a day. Start small. How about learning just 5 new words a day? That's only 35 words a week. But in a month, you'll know 140 words. That's a lot. 2. Use a vocabulary journal. Write down 1 or 2 new words every day in a notebook. You don't have to write long definitions. Just the word, the meaning, and an example sentence. Review this journal every day. You'll see how much you've learned in just a week. 3. Practice speaking every day. Even if you don't have a language partner, you can practice speaking out loud. Try saying the new words you learn in sentences. Speak in the shower when you're walking, or when you're making your coffee. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll feel using the words. 4. Listen and read every day. You don't have to spend hours. Just 10 minutes of listening to a podcast or reading a short article can expose you to new words. Make it a habit. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain will start recognizing the words you know, and you'll learn new ones naturally. 5. Review regularly. Don't forget to go back and review words from previous days or weeks. This helps keep the words fresh in your mind. You can use flashcards or apps like Anki or Quizlet to test yourself. Remember, consistency is key. Even on days when you feel busy or tired, try to do just a little bit. It could be as simple as reading 1 sentence in English or writing 1 new word. In just a few months, You'll be amazed at how many words you've learned. You'll feel more confident speaking and understanding English. And, most importantly, you'll have fun with it. And that's it for today's episode on how to remember words easily. We've covered a lot, from repetition, using pictures, learning in context, to creating fun memory tricks. And of course, we talked about the importance of practice. Every single day. Remember, learning English is a journey, and you're doing great. Keep using the techniques that work for you, and most importantly, don't give up. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Henry, and I'll see you next time with more tips to help you on your English learning adventure. Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep having fun with English. Well, there you have it. We've covered a lot of powerful techniques to help you remember words more easily, from repetition and visual imagery to using words in context and creating fun memory tricks. Most importantly, we talked about how practicing every day, even if it's just a little bit, will help you build a strong vocabulary over time. Remember, there's no need to rush. Learning English is a journey, and every small step counts. The key is to make it fun, keep practicing, and use the words you learn in real life. The more you use them, the stronger they become in your memory. So, take what you've learned today and start practicing. Whether it's listening to a podcast, reading a short story, or speaking with a friend, try to incorporate some of these techniques into your daily routine. You'll be amazed at how much progress you'll make. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Podcast Name. I hope you're feeling motivated and ready to start remembering new words easily. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who are on their own English learning journey. I'm Henry, and I'll be back soon with more tips and tricks to help you on your way to mastering English. Until next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep having fun with it. Goodbye for now.